Afghan-born Hollywood actor goes to war. The story of warrior actor Fahim Fazli. Written by Joey Hancock. Narrated by Jonathan Zeiger. Actor and author Fahim Fazli visited ASU this week to speak to students, offer advice, and show them no matter where they come from or what problems life throws at them, dreams can be achieved, which he writes about in his book, Fahim Speaks. Fazli has starred in more than 50 films, working with the likes of Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Bill Murray, Louis C.K., and Robert Downey Jr. But before his acting career, a struggle to get to America began in his childhood home. Part 1. Child in a War Zone. In the late 1970s, Soviet Russia invaded Afghanistan and reshaped Fazli's life.
In 1979, the communists came to my country. They took over Afghanistan in 24 hours.
Fahim still recalls the day that it happened.
I was 12 years old. I didn't know anything about commies, and they killed 1 million of us in the first years.
The Soviet Union's invasion had an immediate impact on Fazli's family because his mother worked as a midwife in the Afghan government. Fahim tells us, "My mom, her name is Fahima, came home from work, and I saw tears in her eyes, and she said, 'Fahim, we are leaving, but you are not. Your dad wants to hold you and your brother.' I asked her what was wrong, and she said the communists will kill us if we don't leave in 24 hours. My dad was stubborn, and he said my brother and I were staying." This was the last time Fazli would see his mother and sisters for 4 long years. Fahim recalls, "We went into the house, and I looked at my dad and asked why we didn't go. He said, 'Shut up and sit down.' He did it because he believed we would beat the Russians in a month or 2. But it took us 10 years. After Fazli's mother left, he returned to school the next day, but lost interest in his studies in the 7th grade. I skipped school, and I saw the tanks passing by everywhere, so I made a flyer. A propaganda flyer was given to us by the CIA, who was helping us defeat the communists. I would get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, hiding from my dad, and run through the city handing out flyers to put the fears onto the Russians. After spreading flyers given to him by operatives working for the CIA, Fazli and his friends tried to find other ways to defeat the communists. I would play double agent and go to their base to trade American t-shirts or Kent cigarettes for guns, he said. They were so into American logos because they had never seen them before. I would trade them and then sell the guns to freedom fighters who were connected to Pakistan, and they were connected to the CIA. With the money from the gun sales, Fazli and his friends would buy kites, and playing double agent made him want to one day become an actor. But before this dream as a child could come true, a longer struggle was about to take place. One day, my principal called my dad and told him they had to send me to a communist camp in Siberia. And my dad made a decision that it wouldn't be a good idea for his son to go to Siberia to get brainwashed by the communists, Fazli said. Part 2. Coming to America. One morning, soon after the phone call from the principal, Fazli's father woke him up at 5 a.m. and told him they were leaving. Me and my brother got in a jingle truck with my dad driving towards Pakistan, and halfway there we stopped at a checkpoint, and my cousin was there, a communist. So I put my head down and he eventually let us through, Fazli said. We then walked 7 days and 7 nights through the mountains hiding from the helicopters flying over. We finally arrived in Pakistan to a refugee camp. Arriving at the refugee camp and meeting the Marines was the first step in a 4-year journey to find his mother, Fazli said. I told the Marine translating for us I wanted to find my mother, and the Marine said come back in 4 days, he said. So we came back and the Marines were smiling at us. They said, "We found your mother," after 4 years of not seeing each other and no letters. She was living in Charlottesville, Virginia. Fazli got on the phone and called his mother in Virginia, but the response from the other end of the line was not one of welcoming or excitement, but one of confusion. My mom got on the phone and she asked who it was, and I said, "This is Fahim." She said, "What are you talking about? My son is dead. The communists killed him." I said, "It's me, Mom. My voice has changed. I've become a man." After long struggling to convince her, she believed me. Fazli's aunt, who was in the U.S., had told his mother he and his brothers were dead, and that his father had married another woman. This made Fazli's mother deal with the grief and begin to move on with her life. After 2 years in the refugee camp, Fazli and his family were allowed to come to the U.S. and received their green cards and passports at the airport upon arrival at Washington Dulles. Part 3. American Life. Arriving in the U.S. provided more challenges for Fazli, but his dream to become an actor was still in his heart.
When I was 7 years old, I asked myself 6 questions. Who am I? Who I want to be? Where I want to be? What's my dream? What's my passion? And what's my hobby?
These questions led Fazli to try to sign up for the Marines, but after receiving the 5-page test, he failed, and he had to change direction, which led him to pursuing his dream of becoming an actor. After failing the test, I asked myself the questions again, and went to work as an actor, but couldn't get my Screen Actors Guild card, because I couldn't get a speaking part, he said. In 2006, Fazli began working as a technical advisor, coaching Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Soon after, Fazli began getting parts in other movies and television shows as an actor, voiceover artist, and consultant, but the parts were mostly typecast as a terrorist. Fahim says, "As a terrorist, the reason I do that, I know those guys hijacked the religion, and I want to introduce them in the movie how evil they are. You saw me get emotional. I have a heart and love my mom and stuff, and I don't mind if I get typed as a terrorist for the rest of my life, and I will always want to show how they hijacked the religion. The religions aren't bad. These people hijack the religion and are the boogeymen." Working in film and television has led to an illustrious career, allowing Fazli to work along such people as Bradley Cooper and Clint Eastwood in American Sniper, Ben Affleck in Argo, Tom Hanks in Charlie Wilson's War, Louis C.K. in the TV show Louie, and Bill Murray in the film Rock the Casbah. After working on films with award-winning actors, Fazli's focus shifted back to his home country, and he decided he wanted to do something to help. Part 4. Back to War. In 2009, Fazli decided he wanted to pursue his dream of being a Marine, and took a test to become a translator for the Department of Defense. This time he passed, and was shipped off to Afghanistan in the Kabul province, where he helped Marines and locals communicate. "Both America and Afghanistan have given me so much," Fazli said. "Afghanistan is my birth country, and America is my adopted country, and I wanted to pay my dues for this passport." After arriving in Afghanistan, Fazli began working with local tribes and Marines to open up communication and ease tensions in the area, which had an impact on ASU professor Mark Van Hagen. Says Hagen, "What I really liked best was the story he told of how he had to explain to the Afghans that the Marines weren't Russians. He didn't do that by words, but by pulling out a cross to show them that they weren't communists. And he did that instinctively and translated that so fast." Fazli saved multiple lives due to his ability to talk and translate between the tribal leaders and Marines, and he is proud that no one, Marine or civilian, were killed during his time in the region. ASU student and retired Corporal John Lupke said Fazli's ability to stop conflicts and bring people together made him a role model amongst his peers. "We all looked up to him," said Corporal Lupke. "I had just turned 20 years old, and it was my first deployment and had no idea what war was going to be like until I was in it. We had to learn to respect their customs. So if we didn't have that guidance from Fahim, it would have been a lot different." Retired Lieutenant Colonel Michael Moffat, co-author of Fahim Speaks, said his time with Fahim in Afghanistan began a lifelong friendship, and he is proud to have helped Fazli achieve his dream. Says Lieutenant Colonel Moffat, "I think I helped him to have an opportunity to chase a dream, writing a book, and I think I helped him realize that dream. My dream has also been to write a book and make a difference, so I think we both helped each other realize dreams that otherwise wouldn't have happened." Part 5. The next 50 years. Fazli's message to students at ASU has been to seek out your dreams and go for them, and if he can come to America and make his dreams come true, then anyone can. He has advice for those looking to achieve their dreams.
If a 9th grade educated Afghan come to this beautiful country, United States of America, become an actor, author, culture technical advisor, and linguist for U.S. Marine. If I can do it, you can do it. Never give up. Make it happen.